Hello everybody, my name is Dee and welcome to Books and Quirks. Today I have a book haul for you. I haven't done a book haul in so many months, but I finally have acquired quite a few books in the past few months, so I thought I'd just do a big haul. I have about 20 books, which is big for me. And yeah, I mean, I really got them all at a good price too. You know, a lot of them are secondhand. Some are new, but they were still pretty inexpensive. So yeah, let me just get right into it. Some are new books, some are old books, but you'll see. And yeah, I hope you enjoy and let me know if you've read any of the ones that I show you today. So the first two books that I have are ones that you've already seen, but the first book that I have is Earthsea by Ursula Le Guin. This is a middle grade fantasy novel, or not middle grade, YA fantasy novel. Um, and I buddy read the first book. This is a bind up of the first four books. And I didn't really enjoy the first book, but I'm going to give more a try. Ursula Le Guin is a very famous fantasy writer, so I really want to give her books more of a chance, even though I didn't really enjoy the first one all that much. But yes, I buddy read the first book last week and during Booktubeathon. Anyway, I'm really excited to have this bind up and give more of her books a try. And the other one that you've seen is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This was I read during Booktubeathon. Absolutely wonderful. It's about a boy. It's a middle grade novel, and it's about a boy whose mother is sick with cancer, and this book is very real. Even though it has some magical elements, you know, it has a monster that visits him every night for a specific purpose. It's not your everyday monster story. It's not like, you know, the monster was like scaring him or, you know, anything like that. But it was there to impart some stories. I don't really explain it that well, but I really recommend this book. It is a hard book to read because it does deal with very real subject matter, and it's very heavy and sad, but that didn't detract from the way that I thought about the story and how impactful it was. So yes, A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. The next book that I have is a historical fiction, and it's The Girl from Savoy by Hazel Gaynor. This is a historical fiction taking place in the 1920s, and I just knew that I had to have it as soon as I saw first the cover and then the subject matter, the blurb on the back. It says, London, 1923. Welcome to the Savoy Hotel, a glittering jewel in London's social scene, where the lives of the rich, the famous, and the infamous intertwine. So I'm really excited to have this book, and we'll see what I think of it when I read it. The next book is a romance by Jennifer Probst, and it's the start of something good. And I have read a novel by Jennifer Probst before, and I really enjoyed it. So I wanted to get another one of her books, and I saw this one, and I knew I had to have it. So I don't really know much about it, except that it is a romance, and it takes place in the Hudson Valley, which is close to where I live. So very excited to have this book, and I may read this in the fall because just look at those colors. Doesn't it scream fall to you? It just screams fall. The next book that I have is Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan or Shornan McGuire. I have heard of this book. This was very popular on BookTube last year. It is about, I don't really know what it's about, but based on the little bit that I've read, I think it's about a town where children disappear, and years later one of them returns. And I know that this is very well renowned. It is a Hugo and Nebula Award winner. I've had very good luck with those, so hopefully I really enjoy this. And it's really short, so it should take me no time at all to get through, and I'm really excited to have this one as well. The next one is the first book in a fantasy series, and it's Age of Myth by Michael J. Sullivan. I have heard about this book for quite some time. I wanted a copy of my own. This isn't really a big paperback. It's just basically a tiny bit bigger than a mass market paperback, but I'm still excited to give this one a go. I don't really know what it's about, but it does have some magical creatures, gods, magic, and all kinds of other magical people. So really excited to have this one as well. The next one that I have is one that you've all heard of, and it's just a little mass market paperback, and that is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Really excited to have this. I've heard lots of things about it. I think it's a middle grade, or maybe it's a YA, I'm not sure, but it's a galaxy quest, so I'm really excited to have this one also. The next one that I have is House of Shadows by Nicola Kornick. This is a historical fiction, but parts of the book take place in the 1600s and parts of the book take place in the present. In the present time, the main character is researching her family tree and this old manor house that belongs to the family, and I'm not sure how it connects to the character in the 1600s. Maybe it's her ancestor, I'm not sure, but I'm really excited to have this. I've wanted this book for quite some time. I have so many books on my TBR that I want to own eventually, but these are the ones I picked up the past few months, so I'm really excited to have this one also. The next book that I have is another romance, and is The Cottage on Sunshine Beach by Holly Martin. And this book is just your basic summer romance. Light and fluffy. I've read a book by Holly Martin before. It was like Christmas romance, and really loved it, really enjoyed the story. So I was excited to give another one of her books a go, and I saw that one and I just thought, plus her books in general are so pretty. The Christmas one that I read by her was like, had like pink and purple and blue hues to it. It was just gorgeous as well. The next book that I have is a World War II historical fiction, and that is The Silver Music Box by Mina Bates. This is a German author, and it is about a Jewish family that was separated during World War. Yeah, they were separated during World War II. Years later, one of the children of the parents starts to investigate the death of her parents, and I don't know how a music box comes into play, but I really knew that I wanted this book for a while as well. It's hopefully really good. The next book that I have is a nonfiction book, and it is Lords of Finance by Liaquat Ahamed. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but this is a nonfiction book about the story of a group of central bankers that were behind the economic collapse and, you know, the Great Depression that followed the economic collapse in 1929. And also the Great Depression, you know, it was like a domino effect, was a really the root cause of World War II, because it affected, you know, all of the other countries as well. So this was the winner of the Pulitzer Prize. I heard it from Olive of the book Olive, I believe, and I knew that I wanted to read this. It's hopefully really good. I love history. I love that time period. I find it so fascinating, and I never knew anything about these central bankers, so I'm excited to read this as well. The next book I have is a YA fantasy, and that is Time Bound by Risa Walker. And this book is a time travel book. It also is a little bit of a murder mystery. And yeah, that's really all I know about it, and I can't wait to give this one a go as well. The next book that I have is another romance, and that is Roomies by Christina Lauren. The reason I knew I wanted this is that it involves romance, but it also involves Broadway. The two main characters, I think, are trying out for a Broadway musical, and I knew that this was probably going to be one that I would absolutely love, because those two things are just, oh, love it, love it, love it, love it. So, and look at that skyline. Isn't it a pretty cover? So I knew I wanted this one, and I'm really excited to get to this as well. The next book that I have is Fall of Giants by Ken Follett. This is the first book in a trilogy, I believe. It is a historical fiction So it follows 5 families, and it says, from the dirt and danger of a coal mine to the glittering chandeliers of a palace, from the corridors of power to the bedrooms of the mighty. Fall of Giants takes us into the inextricably entangled fates of 5 families, and into a century that we thought we knew, but that now will never seem the same. So I'm really excited to give this one a go. I bought it for just a couple of dollars, but it's almost in perfect condition. It's used. And it's been recommended to me a few times by a couple different people. So I'm really excited to give this one a go eventually. It is a monster of a book, but yeah, I'm excited to read this one also. The next one that I have is also a romance, and it is On Mystic Lake by Kristin Hannah. This book is, or this author rather, is very well known. She's really been talked about on BookTube the past couple of years. Not this book in particular, but other books, newer books by her. And I saw this, and it was only a couple of dollars, so, and I've never read anything by this author. So I knew I wanted to give it a go, and I cannot wait. It's really pretty. It's very much a summer romance also. And the next one that I have is The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. Everyone knows this book. This book was going around BookTube last year. I believe that's when it came out. It is about the family of a man, an African-American man that was gunned down by the police, I believe. And I've been wanting to read this book for quite a while because I think it's really important, especially because this is something that's going on a lot in the U.S. And very relevant to today's times. And yes, I'm very excited to finally have a copy because I've been wanting a copy forever. And I found this for on Book Depository. It wasn't really that expensive, so I'm excited to have it. So the next book that I have is The Clocks by Agatha Christie. I've been wanting to read another Agatha Christie novel for a while. Earlier this year, I read my first Agatha Christie book, and that was And Then There Were None. I'm really just excited to get into another one of her books. I just loved the first book, and I want to read a lot more by her. So this was another purchase. The next book that I have I'm really excited about. It is a sci-fi fantasy, and that is Only Forward by Michael Marshall Smith, and it's forwarded by Neil Gaiman. So what more do you need to say? I'm really excited for this book. I think that it will be a lot of fun. I don't know much about it. It's like a world where each city or each town or parts of each town have like their own set of rules, and there's some like magic involved, and yeah, I'm just really excited to get into this book, and I cannot wait to get started. The next book is another contemporary romance, and that is One in a Million by Lindsay Kelk. I'm reading this book for the Summer Romance Book Bingo. I haven't yet started it though. Really excited. It is about a woman who makes a bet where she can pick any man in the room and make him like Instagram famous or an Instagram celebrity in 30 days. Kind of reminds me of How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Have you guys ever seen that movie? It stars Kate Hudson, that's her name. I couldn't remember the name for a second. It stars Kate Hudson. Kind of gives me those vibes, and I hope that it's just enjoyable as that. But yeah, I really can't wait to get into this book, One in a Million. And the final book that I have is a fantasy book. It's a very old fantasy written in the 80s, I believe, and that is The Mists of Avalon by Marion Zimmer Bradley. All I know is this is a King Arthur fantasy, and I'm really excited. I've been wanting a copy of this book and to read it for many years. So when I was a child, I saw like a made-for-TV like movie, but it was like a series, a several-part series of this book. And although I don't remember all of the parts of the movie, I just remember loving it and like the magic of it. And yes, I'm really excited to get into this book. It is a monster. And I plan on buddy reading this book later this month with Cheryl of CR Flames Fan, and I cannot wait. I think it's going to be really good. It's going to take us quite a while to get through. If we read like 50 pages a day, it's almost 900 pages, so really excited to get into this book also. And the final two books I have are ones that you have already seen as well. And the first is My Mamma Mia Summer by Annie Robertson. I read this book for a booktubeathon, loved it. It's very much reminiscent of the movie Mamma Mia. Now, Mamma Mia is a Broadway show, and I've seen both the show and the movie, but this book is very much based off the movie, and it's about a woman who jets off to Greece, Skopelos, to have her own Mamma Mia adventure, and it's just, I loved it so much. And the final book is another one that I read for Booktubeathon, and that is New York Actually by Sarah Morgan. Sarah Morgan is a very well-known romance author. She has written several books. I've read a couple of her books before. This is actually part of her Actually series. Loved it so much. And it has love, it has dogs, it has everything. So I'm really excited for this. It is about a woman named Molly. She is a very well-known blog writer. She writes under a pseudonym. She also has a dog named Valentine, and she goes for a run every day in Central Park and meets a man who is a divorce lawyer, and he really concocts a plan to meet her. He temporarily adopts a dog in order to meet her. He wasn't a dog person previously, but good things happen to the dog, so no dog was hurt in this book, either physically or emotionally. I really just love this book so much, and I love this author very much. It has a good story to go along with the romance. So that is all I have for you. Those are all of the books I have for my book haul. These are books that I've purchased over the course of the summer and the spring, and also, I've gone shopping recently, and a good bunch of these purchased also just last month. So that is all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye.